How's everybody doing out there in YouTube land? I'm going to give you a small brief, history of me, rail fanning, Leica models, all that good stuff. I'll try not to keep it too long-winded. Don't want to bore you to death. Short and sweet, hopefully. But as we go along, I'm going to do a quick slideshow of some of the photos I've taken. For you CSX fans, you'll really like some of the older paint scheme, and I got a few older Santa Fe paint scheme photographs I'm going to show you. But let's get into it. I grew up in small town Ohio, and there was a B&O line that ran through the local coal yards and stuff like that near strip mines, and nice tunnel and stuff went through the town, a couple bridges over creeks. So yeah, at a young age, I always liked the trains because you would hear them, I'd run out and see them. So as kids, you played on the tracks. You didn't really think about trespassing. They didn't really care much back then. But you jump off the bridges into the water and have some nice swim days on the hot summer days. But I had one of them old, now you old guys will remember, an old Kodak disc camera. Took like 15 shots. Very bad quality. But, it was all you had. You didn't have video recorders or camcorders, and I think Super 8 was around back then. Then I got about middle school, 5th, 6th grade, and there used to be a janitor that sat in the entrance to the gymnasium where we would meet in the morning until you started class. And he would sit on a bar stool, kind of monitor the kids coming in and out, and he would sit there and tell stories about model railroading. The fun in it, the stuff that was out there. So I just got really interested in that, and he gave me my very first model railroad magazine. I still have it. This was from February of 1976, and he saw how interested I was, and he gave me another one after that. I think it was the March edition. So that was an old book to him at the time. So, I started reading through these books or magazines, and then I started getting them, running uptown to the newsstand and buying the latest issue. Convinced my parents to let me get a subscription. So, that's kind of how I got into the model railroading, was the janitor, and we called him Stumpy. He was heavier set man, always wore suspenders, kept you laughing, always told you great stories. But he was in love with the model railroading also, and he got a few of us kids back then into the hobby. Now I'm going to take you into a short, slideshow of some pictures that you may like, may not like. And when we're done, we'll come back and we'll tell you have a nice day. This is that tunnel at the end of town. Me and my brothers would climb up top and look down on the coal trains as they went by. It was good fun. And here's one of the trestles coming out of the tunnel, jump off of or play underneath in the water. There were some slate dumps to the left of this. We used to ride our bikes up and down the slate dumps. And I always have my little disc camera on hand in case the friendly engineer would want to wave at you on the way by. And back then they were still towing around the caboose, so had a real nice bay window caboose. And every once in a while he'd be standing out back, wave at you, smoking his cigarette, having a good old trip. Every time the local newspaper would feature a derailment or an accident involving a train, I would always write to the newspaper company and send a self-addressed envelope so they could send me back the black and white original photos of the incident that they put in the paper. Here I am. I was about, 11 or 12 years old. I graduated to a 110 camera, put the little cartridge in it and have fun. But my grandparents lived in Telford, Pennsylvania. We used to go up there in summer times or at Christmas, somewhere in there. But the switchers were always going by. I loved Conrail. Couldn't not resist running out there and seeing them. The house was only about 2 or 3 houses down from the tracks. So I'd always run out there and get the freight cars they was towing around. Every once in a while a passenger would run by. Might have been SEPTA or something. Not really sure. But there was always a caboose on the end of these too. And then I grew up. About 1990 and 91 was the kickoff of Desert Shield, Desert Storm, where we had to go liberate Kuwait from Saddam Hussein. Well, we had to railhead our vehicles to the coast to be loaded on ships to be sent overseas. So this was around Hopkinsville, Kentucky. And this was like the highlight of my life at the time, because I never got to be on or around this much railroad equipment. But we had to load all the military vehicles onto the flat cars so they could be railheaded down to the coast to be shipped over there. So this is part of the operation. And some of you CSX guys will love the old paint schemes. That was one of the equipment I ran. I was a heavy equipment operator. And while I was over there, I got to meet Brooke Shields, so that was kind of cool. It's me coming out of the ashtray tour, as I called it, after a long, hard day's work, digging in the sand. And then we got back, we hit Fort Hood, Texas, and there was a lot of railhead operation down there. So as you can see, the Santa Fe old paint scheme. But I always got to see some kind of railroad action going on around all the military bases. The military always has to load something out somewhere. Well, there you go. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I'm sure some of you enjoyed the older photographs of some of the paint schemes that was on there. It was just a brief little history on kind of how I got into the rail fanning portion, and then later on into the model railroading, all due to Stumpy, the high school janitor. He was a great mentor to a lot of kids back then. But yeah, I mean, some of these videos would be great if you guys would start doing some videos similar. Maybe you'll do them better, I don't know. But it'd be nice to see how a lot of you got your starts, how you got interested in modeling, why you switch back and forth from one scale to the next. I did HO, my very first one. Wasn't that great, I was just a kid, but I had fun with it. So now I'm doing the N scale. So yeah, pop out some videos, do some old picture slideshows. Let's see what you got. Because some of you guys are really great to watch. You know, interesting stuff that you do. Your modeling is fantastic. Some of the rail fanners out there, videos fantastic. So yeah, hope you like the video. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share it with somebody you might think's interested. Maybe we'll get some other videos similar to this. Have a good one. Pappy out.